Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, it's gaming's biggest night, the 5th annual Cartridge Awards. It's a secret to everybody, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society is a secret to everybody with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I'm always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, happy Cartridge Awards
Oh, happy
to you.
Cartridge Awards to you
Thank
as
you.
well. I'm always so excited
Yes.
for the Cartridge Awards, and this year, our big 5th annual celebration is no different. Truly, the brightest of the stars in the Nintendo universe are here tonight.
Yes, and it's. I'm pretty sure I saw Luigi earlier. He's looking great as always.
Yes.
These are people that we've been talking about for so long, and it's nice that we're able to, fully honor them this year as we have done many years in the past.
I completely agree.
Mark, is there anyone that you're hoping to meet this year?
I have my fingers crossed for KK Slider.
Yeah,
I know
it's always the hope.
Always the hope, but he always has such an entourage around him that it's difficult to really get
tough.
a second.
So sometimes it's an entourage, and sometimes he's here with his mom.
Yes,
right. He does that cute thing of like, my mom is my date. And he can't. It's tough to get near him when his entourage is around. But when he's just here with his mom, you don't want to.
You don't
want to.
That's even worse.
Yeah. You don't want. Then you're rude. If you're interrupting an entourage, you're like in the right. Right? But if you're interrupting someone's mom, look inward, I think.
But yeah, I just think it's gonna be a big night. Have some big awards to give out. This is the first year that we're doing 2 honorary awards.
Right. It's exciting. There's a lot of buzz in the room. I think people are excited to have the awards announced, and people are, decked out and ready for the ceremony. Before we get into all of that, of course, I think we just need to remind people about our Patreon, patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you're supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries. We just put out an episode of NCS Arcade about Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Mark and I both played the game. I played it on 3DS. Mark played it on Game Boy Advance via the Nintendo Switch, and we had a good long conversation about it.
Yep, absolutely. And in just a few days, 'tis the season, we're going to be doing a special episode of NCS Detective Club, talking about a holiday-themed episode of Monk.
Yes.
That should be a lot of fun.
Mr. Monk and the Secret Santa is the name of that episode.
So
they all start with Mr. Monk.
So check it out, watch it along with us, and we'll be having that discussion. And it'll be on our Patreon for our 8-bit and 16-bit subscribers shortly.
And if you are following us for free on Patreon, you also get access to our listener feedback episode about Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. So if you have comments or thoughts or questions about Mario and Luigi, email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society
@gmail.com.
And we will include those questions in the episode. Also use that email to get into our Discord. People are talking about Nintendo stuff all the time. Certainly people will want to gossip about what they see and hear here at the awards tonight. That'll all be going down in the Discord. I'm sure people will be like, did you see Pauline is here with Donkey Kong? I thought they broke up.
The nerve.
So anyway, Mark, let's get into it. Let's start giving out awards. So we're already here to the first Cardi of the night. The category is the surest sign that we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch. Now, you could argue that everything Nintendo has done this year has been like a pretty surefire sign that they are done with the platform. But there are, as always, a couple of things that really rose to the top as like the surest signs. And I have some nominees. Mark, I assume you have some nominees as well. Would you like to offer nominees first or second? I guess we can go back and forth.
Yeah, we can go back and forth. I'll go ahead and start, though. So the first surest sign we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch that I'm putting up for nomination is that there's no pending amiibo.
Yeah.
We have reached the end of all known amiibo, and maybe it is truly just the end. We just don't know.
What's interesting is we've also been in this position multiple times this year, right? I believe that the only amiibo that came out this year, there was the Sora amiibo, there were the 2 Xenoblade Chronicles 3 amiibo, and then the alternate costumes of the Splatoon idols. And before those Splatoon idols were announced, we were in that zone.
Oh, that's right.
There were no amiibos announced. So the first time we'd been there since amiibo were revealed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we are back in that space again now. But yeah, what a great point that like no pending amiibo, a surefire sign that like whatever's happening right now is we're at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
My first nominee for sure sign that we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch, the gall of releasing a Mario versus Donkey Kong remake. It's sort of unheard of, and like, did it sell? I have no concept.
I think it sold over 1 million copies, so it did its job for sure.
I mean, just incredible stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It for whatever reason, the release of a remake of a GBA game, a single GBA game, when they also like the previous year released the 2 Advance Wars games together as like one big shiny remake, and this is like just a GBA game, and such a slight one at that.
Yeah, I mean, didn't this even include a new like level or section or world or something?
I think it included new.
But no, I know what you mean. It was still like really slight, and it wasn't a bad game.
No, I liked it,
but it felt more something appropriate for a downloadable title.
Totally,
than like key retail release of Nintendo's year.
Yeah, and to Nintendo's credit, I believe this thing was priced at $50.
I believe it was
right?
too.
So like they knew it was a budget title. Could have been 40. Could have been 40. But it wasn't.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit for my own next nomination, and that is that there were no Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development developed games published this year. Now, Mario versus Donkey Kong was developed by NST, Nintendo Software Technology, which is based in North America and is a Nintendo first-party developer. But no...
Also, formerly ND Cube, currently Nintendo Cube, which is also technically a first-party studio.
Now that it's been fully acquired. But yeah...
Made Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Yes, that's right. But besides those 2, like, semi-exceptions, everything else has been developed by outside of Nintendo. So, I feel like that's a pretty sure sign that we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, I will agree with that. My next nominee for sure sign that we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch is the launch of the Nintendo 64 M17 Plus app. I feel like we are truly scraping the bottom of the barrel of relevance when we're like, the mature games on Nintendo 64, they're their own library.
Right. It's like the
Shadow Man. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I think and Turok 2.
I think I nothing against the Turok games. I don't know them, but like Shadow Man, it does feel like we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Here.
And really, until Conker's Bad Fur Day is on that thing, it feels irrelevant to me.
Yeah. I have one final nomination.
Yep.
For sure, a sign we're in the final of the year of the Nintendo Switch. And that is that Nintendo has said the successor is being announced sometime soon.
Sure. So, Nintendo says so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a great and almost like empirically the surest sign. Although they've not lied to us before, but like, I guess Nintendo has just like outright said that they will announce the Switch successor before the end of this
fiscal year. Yep.
Yeah. And my surest sign, my final nomination for this, and there's still like just a hint of bitterness here because of course I did vow to buy everything Nintendo put out this year. I was honor bound to do so. So my final nominee here is just Endless Ocean Luminous.
I like that yours are games. They're like,
well, 2 of them are games.
This thing was not very good.
Well, it's not even that it's not. So Endless Ocean Luminous is that it's not very good. But Mario versus Donkey Kong, that's not a bad It's not a bad game.
Yeah.
It is just like a perplexing choice.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not denigrating your nominees, for
sounds like they're
for being games, because I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think like Endless Ocean Luminous. In any other, I totally forgot that was even released this year.
Right, and you co-bought it.
And I co-bought it, and I've had no desire to use my
shelf right now.
use my equal
give it to you. Yes.
time that I've rightfully earned by co-buying it. I feel like all of these are good.
They're all good.
I think the one that like no pending amiibo, I think you raised a really good point that we've been in this space before.
Yes.
And at any moment,
but only this year.
Only this year. Yeah. So maybe that is the fact that it's happened multiple times. But I'm saying I think that's maybe one of the weakest nominees.
I will also say that the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake is maybe just me throwing shade at something that like doesn't make sense on paper, but like I enjoyed the experience of it, almost in the same way of that we were derisive about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, and then ended up really enjoying it.
I mean, I would say that Luigi's Mansion 2 was definitely better.
Yes.
That was a much more fun experience.
But they're both signs that like you're playing a creaky old system.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Any of like Mario vs. Donkey Kong being released in a more robust year, you'd be like, what a fun bonus.
Right.
Instead of like, what a kind of creaky thing to hang your hat on.
I mean, I hate to be so literal,
but I think it is empirically
Nintendo
has
said so.
Yeah.
All right. So the Cardi for surest sign we're in the final year of the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo says so. They said it. Nintendo says so. So the first award of the night goes to Nintendo says so. Mark, would you like to introduce the next category?
Yes. The next category is here to honor a hardworking group that sometimes doesn't get the spotlight shown on it.
It's true.
That they deserve.
Just like the Oscars are constantly being lobbied for to develop an Oscar for best stunts, we have finally introduced this category.
That's right. And this year, we're ready to honor Best Goomba.
The Best Goomba. Mark, I'm excited to hear your nominations, but you went first last time, so I'm going to go first this time. My first nominee, and the one that I feel maybe the strongest about, is of course the horny Goomba lady from Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay, well, her name is Goombella, and no. Her name is Goombette.
Okay, yes. I was going to say Goombella's a different...
Yes. Her name is Goombette.
Okay.
And apparently she's maybe maybe it's more than one.
Okay, there are multiple.
Okay,
then I just mean I'm nominating the type then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or we could be nominating a specific one.
Sure. I'm not. I mean, this is so for people who haven't played Super Mario Odyssey or haven't played it in a long time. There are points in the game where you will encounter a Lady Goomba, and the only way you can tell she's a lady is that she's wearing a hat.
She's right? And she has eyelashes.
She does have eyelashes.
She has blush.
Right.
Yeah.
And she is impressed by male Goombas who are stacked on top of each other. And so you have to stack a bunch of Goombas on top of each other to impress her, and she'll give you a moon. And I just love that, like, I don't know, have we seen this demonstrated anywhere else, that like the size of a Goomba tower like demonstrates the virility of the male Goomba? I have no idea what's happening, but I love this lady. So
yeah,
Goombette, the horny Goomba lady from Super Mario Odyssey.
She's real smitten by whatever Goomba's on top of that tower.
Yeah, I think she, by the tower together. I think it's a collective that she likes. I think Goombette is poly, sort of.
Well, I think that's that Goombette is also one of my nominations.
Yes.
And
I feel like she's one of the strongest nominations.
I think she's a very strong nomination. I do, if we're I know we didn't nominate the tower,
right?
But I do have multiple.
We did not nominate the tower.
Yeah,
yet.
You're right. I don't know your nominations.
Right.
But I do want to nominate 3 Goombas standing on top of each other, and that's Dr. Goomba Tower.
Absolutely, Dr. Goomba Tower.
3 become 1. Giving medical advice. And Dr. Goomba Tower,
who of course appears in the now defunct Dr. Mario World mobile game. as one of the playable doctors. He's 3 Goombas in a trench coat, or not trench coat, a doctor's like lab coat, and they've got the little reflector thing on the top one.
Yeah, it's just delightful that like somebody at Nintendo was like, well, it needs to be a Goomba, but it doesn't make sense for it to be one Goomba.
It does not make sense.
It's got to
be
be
one.
3 of them,
right,
on top of each other.
Now, Goombet would really, I mean, a tower and a doctor.
This is a real catch.
Yeah.
Dr. Goomba Tower is a real catch.
Yeah,
Any Goombet would be lucky.
Yes, I agree. So, okay, that's our second nomination is Dr. Goomba Tower. For my next nomination, I'm putting forward Professor Frankly from the Dr. Mario series. It plays a big role in Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and is sort of like your guide through a lot of the like missions and stuff. He wears crazy glasses, is kind of like a forgetful guy. It's a type that you and I like,
we love it,
generally speaking. So Professor Frankly, the Goomba from Paper Mario.
Well, I'm going to also nominate a Goomba from Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, and that's Goombella, who is your first companion in the game, the one that has like the tattle ability that you can use to learn about the enemies that you're fighting. But she is, like a spunky little Goomba, and so a lot of her explanations about the characters when you use tattle,
they're sassy. Yeah,
they're sassy.
Yeah.
I like Goombella a lot.
Yeah, she's got a lot of attitude. She's good. She's also she's a student of Professor Frankly, I believe.
I think that's right.
And then my final nominee here is the giant Goomba from the painting of Tiny Huge Island in Mario 64. You see this painting 3 times in the one room when you are going into Tiny Huge Island, and I don't know, it's just like a fun iconic image of big and small Goombas, but the big one, he's so big. I don't know if it's as good as a tower of Goombas, but okay, Mark. So our nominee, unless that was all.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so Goombet, the horny Goomba lady from Super Mario Odyssey, Dr. Goomba Tower, Goombella, Professor Frankly, and the giant Goomba from the painting of Tiny Huge Island in Mario 64.
Yeah, I don't really know that Goombet would be interested in one giant.
No, I think she needs multiple.
Goomba.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think probably evidenced by the fact that we both nominated her.
I think it is Goombet.
That's got to be Goombet, the horny Goomba lady from Super Mario Odyssey, wins the Cardi for Best Goomba. Very good. So our next award, this is exciting. We have a sponsored award for the first time this year. Princess Peach Showtime presents Best Fit.
So we're just becoming more and more like the Game Awards.
Yeah, that's right.
Sponsored awards.
That's right. Brought to you by Axe Body Spray. Princess Peach Showtime, a game notorious for the multiple looks that Princess Peach herself wears, transforms into all these cool versions of Peach.
I would go so far as to say the selling point of that game.
I would go so far as to say the only thing I liked about that game. So yeah, Best Fit. Mark, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I really struggled with this.
This is a tough category.
Just because there are so many like iconic outfits, so I wasn't sure if to go with iconic or like what exactly. So I decided that a starting point for me would be to go back to our own history, and I want to nominate the winner of our Super Mario Odyssey costumes ranking.
Oh yes, I believe this is the sombrero.
It
and
is.
Poncho,
It's the poncho and sombrero Mario outfit from Super Mario Odyssey, and it is just as delightful a look as you remember it being. So that's the one that I felt like would be appropriate as my first nominee.
That is a great pull. What was your reaction just then when I just knew that information off the top of my head?
I was really impressed because I had to go back and like look it up to see who we had see who we'd put up there.
As it was escaping my mouth, I was like, "What's going on?" Mark, I'm gonna stay in the realm of Super Mario Odyssey, because that is the home of a lot of iconic looks for Mario. but also for Peach.
Yes.
Peach, by the end of this game, has been liberated from Bowser. She has ditched the wedding dress and is now wearing different vacation outfits everywhere she goes. When she's in the Bowser Kingdom, she is wearing a like Japanese dress called a yukata that is covered in fire flowers. And she has this giant boo brooch on her, or it's not a brooch, it's like a barrette in her hair. And it's just awesome. She's such a babe, and it's just like
it's
an
good.
all-time look. So that is my first nominee is Peach in the flower yukata.
That is very
fire
good.
flower, specifically yukata.
My next nominee is perhaps a controversial pick, because it is not so much the clothes that make the man, but the tie that makes the Kong, and that is Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country. I feel like, the famous Coco Chanel advice of before you leave the house, take remove one accessory, and I feel like Donkey Kong just takes that even further.
He almost took the inverse of that advice and left only the accessory.
That's right. And I think the dress for the job you want, and I'm not really sure what job Donkey Kong wants.
No.
Banana salesman?
Honestly, he is dressed the way only Donkey Kong could be dressed, right? So he's dressed for the job of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's nailing it. All right, great nominee. My next nominee is Kirby Burger, the outfit from Kirby's Dream Buffet, which the game calls them outfits. This isn't me calling them outfits. It is just a hamburger on top of Kirby's head, and the top bun of the hamburger has like a Kirby face.
That is so good.
Spray painted on it. So it's the Kirby burger from Kirby's Dream Buffet.
That is so good.
It's really cute. Go look it up.
My next nominee is Princess Zelda from Breath of the Wild. I just think her outfit in
like the blue like champion thing.
Yes,
yeah.
I just think that outfit is so good and fitting, and I like that it's like it just I feel like it really gives you a sense of who that character is, like a little more tomboyish, like action oriented. I just really like that outfit a lot.
I also like the sort of like unity that it has with like the Link champion outfit, and like the color scheme is the same as like the other champions too. Like it's neat that they like, I don't know, got like jerseys.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Zelda champion outfit from Breath of the Wild is a great nominee. And then I guess our final nominee for this category got to be a controversial pick from the Switch's least loved game. I'm nominating Horse, the host of Everybody 1-2 Switch. He's wearing like a sparkly purple suit and a sequined purple bow tie, looking super sharp, looking a little bit like Swanky Kong, but better, let's be honest. And his head is a giant horse head mask.
Yep.
So these are our nominees. Recapping them now, and we'll begin the discussion here. So the Mario wearing sombrero and poncho from Super Mario Odyssey, Donkey Kong wearing just a tie, Zelda in her champion's outfit from Breath of the Wild, Kirby Burger from Kirby's Dream Buffet, Peach in the fire yukata from Mario Odyssey, and Horse in his purple sparkly suit.
This is hard because I like all of them, but in such different ways. Like, how do you compare
it's a tough year,
Kirby Burger to Princess Peach and, the Fire Flower Yukata?
Yeah. It's tough. And like, I know we shouldn't be thinking this way, but if Horse doesn't win this award, that's it. This is the last time he's going to be nominated for anything. Right?
I would never say never.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know.
In the Cardis, because maybe
sure. Best horse, maybe.
Yeah, you just don't know. Right. You just don't know.
Right.
But are you saying like we should sympathy award it to Horse?
I'm just saying sometimes that happens, where it's like something will be nominated for like best animated feature and best like motion picture, and you're like, well, give it to the it has no shot of winning.
Oh,
best
I
movie,
see what you're
so,
saying.
Like it will win.
Yeah,
best animated.
I see. I do hear what you're saying, and I like the outfit a lot. but I just don't feel like
it's put to shame by the rest of these.
I just don't feel like it's as strong.
I will also say, like, I agree with your reasoning for Donkey Kong, but I feel like he's outshone by the rest of these.
Yeah, it's
right?
yeah, totally.
Right. So I think the serious nominees are Sombrero Mario, Fire Flower Yukata Peach, Champion Zelda, and Kirby Burger.
I just really like Kirby Burger.
I think Kirby Burger is probably the winner. It's maybe a little simple, but like it's. I mean, do you think you could pull off wearing a hamburger with a like airbrushed picture of your own face on it?
No, I think people would be upset if I did that.
All right, so the Cardi for Princess Peach Showtime presents Best Fit goes to Kirby Burger from Kirby's Dream Buffet.
I think this is a populist pick. It may not be like the fashionable, like tastemakers pick, but I think it's what the people want.
Yeah, and there's like a certain gravity there that we just can't ignore.
Yes.
Right? All right. Mark, if you would like to announce our next award category.
Yes, our next award category is for Best Map.
Best Map.
Now, I am curious to see how you took your nominations.
Yes.
Because are we talking about like best world to explore? Is that the map or the visualization of the map?
Well, Mark, you'll be surprised to learn that I approached it many different ways. I believe you go first in enumerating your nominations.
Well, I took it the way I approach this is if I were to have a poster or like a painting or something of a world map, which one would I want to own? And although I did not approach all of them this way, some of them I did, and that one is Super Mario World. My first nominee is Super Mario World.
What a great map.
And I think it works kind of on both, no matter how you want to approach this category, I think it works because as just like visually pleasing art to look at, I think it's a strong contender. I think as a world to explore and play in the video game, I think it also excels there with its many hidden exits and the way that the world transforms as you move through it.
Absolutely, yes.
So Super Mario World.
And I would also argue is like the first time that a Mario game presents like a single cohesive world that feels like it could be an, although fantastical, real place, right?
Yeah.
That like Mario 3 presents like a couple discrete options where it's like, okay, I can see, but even still, those all feel like very video gamey. This like little archipelago of islands surrounding this like shipwreck is all very evocative and cool.
And I feel like the 3 method is really where the 2D Mario games have continued their tradition.
Absolutely.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, there's like a desert world and there's an ice world, but it doesn't really feel like it's like part of a cohesive geography.
Right.
Whereas in Super Mario World, it does feel like it's one like landmass.
Yeah, totally.
That you're traveling through.
Well, kind of 2 landmasses, and the bridges are a canonical part of it, right? That are both on the map and gameplay things.
Yeah,
like, it's a very good active map in that game, and also just like looks very pleasing and would be great on your wall. My first nominee here is the Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom map. A thing that, because the game is so much about exploring space, you'll be pulling up that physical map over and over again. And I think we as gamers in the last decade have just spent so much time exploring this map that like it is I don't know, it feels like something that's like ingrained into all of us. I think it would make a good poster for a wall or whatever. And now that I'm thinking about it, why haven't I seen that like merchandise everywhere, just like a map of Hyrule?
Well, and one thing that I really like about that nomination is, especially in Breath of the Wild, the like joy of unlocking a new tower and having that area fill in your map was so exciting. It was so exciting to understand how large the world was and how much there was for you to explore. And it does such a good job of making it feel like a cohesive space that you are running around and exploring. It is really cool.
Which is crucial to the design of that game, right? That like that it is a cohesive space. You see that mountain there, you can go to it.
Yeah. Also, just the visualization, like the UI of the map is Like,
So
do you remember when
pleasing,
they
yeah.
added Hero's Path as
Yes.
part of the Breath of the Wild DLC, and you could see like where you went, and more importantly, like where you haven't really explored.
Yes.
Plus, you could see every time you died if you like played
Hilarious. Yes.
with a linked, like crying out sound effect every time. Oh, it was that was so good. That's such a good map. My next pick is for Metroid Prime. And this goes against the like put it up on a wall because these are not beautiful.
Impossible.
And
yes.
sometimes like I think now not that fun to go back to. But the idea is really cool. It's like a 3D
Yes.
map.
Like a wireframe map.
Yes, that you can like manipulate and spin around and look at it from different angles and everything. And it's such a cool approach to a Metroid games map where you're used to seeing it just like laid out, in a 2D plane, and being able to like manipulate it and look at it from different angles and just like see the different entrances and exits and the vertical, or what am I trying to say? Like the 3D space of it,
Right.
where it's like, oh, there's a door over here and it connects into this part of it. It's really cool, even if it hasn't aged all that great.
Well, and even kind of like at the time, navigating around the map can be complicated enough where you're like, I need a map for the map, So like, I think it's, but it is so evocative of like what the technology of the Metroid world is that like you feel as though you're engaging in like the aesthetic sci-fi-ness of the series just by pulling up the map, and I think that's something that the Mario World map and the Breath of the Wild map also do, that they like feel like a piece of that world in a really fun, compelling, and immersive way. For my second nomination, I am nominating the map of World 8-4 that appears in the classified information for the Super Mario World or Super Mario Brothers challenge in Nintendo World Championships NES edition. Mark, did you ever encounter this thing?
No, you're gonna have to explain it to me.
So the final challenge in the Super Mario Brothers, Nintendo World Championships NES edition is challenges from like 15 different NES games. Is that number right? It's close,
something like that.
And the last one in for Super Mario Brothers is using warps beat the game. So you have to go from the beginning to the end. And in all of these final challenges, there is a classified information which emulates the feature in Nintendo Power, just giving you like the hints on like how to actually beat it. And it includes a map of level 8-4, which is that Bowser Castle at the very end. That is like one of those circular things where if you're doing it in the wrong order, it just like spits you back out. You know what I mean? And it was really only through that I was finally able to like visualize and commit to my memory which pipes you go down. It's always the pipe after the lava pit. It's always the pipe after the lava pit. So like when you're playing Super Mario Brothers World 8-4, always the pipe after the lava pit. But seeing it laid out in the classified information in this challenge, what an incredible thing. I absolutely loved it.
I love that that's one of your nominations. And it's kind of similar to my third nomination.
Great.
Which is not like one specific map that exists somewhere, but it is the
concept of maps.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to all maps.
Woo!
No,
north, south, and the rest.
No, it is anyone who has ever written a guide for the original Legend of Zelda and mapped out that final dungeon.
Yes.
Trying to get to Ganon.
Yeah.
Because what a mess. What a horrible, horrible, horrible dungeon.
Right.
That nobody should ever be subjected to without a map.
Well, and it's in the shape of is it the backwards swastika or the actual swastika shape?
I think it's the backwards swastika.
The backwards swastika,
yeah.
Okay.
Still
though.
It's just it's a brutal dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Navigating around it is just awful. And so anybody out there doing the Lord's work and putting together a guide with a visual map to help you understand where you're supposed to go in that dungeon in Zelda, Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. If we were giving an award for best cartographer, I may say
This is a fair point.
I may say that this would be a good nomination. As it stands, I don't know if the map itself is something I love.
Shout out to all maps.
My final nominee for this category is the map that I drew of the final labyrinth in Kid Icarus. I got so frustrated years ago when we did a Kid Icarus month in 2020, playing the original Kid Icarus, a game that we both ended up really liking. But the last labyrinth is a super complicated thing, and I just like took a sheet of paper, folded it into 16 squares, and mapped out every single room as they came. It's a sheet of paper that is currently sitting on the music stand on the other side of the room, and I love that I have it, and I will never get rid of it. I understand this is a bit of a personal pick, so if it ends up not going and winning the award, it's an honor just to be nominated.
By yourself.
By myself. Well, I'm not nominating me.
You're right. It's not Best Cartographer Award.
Best Cartographer.
No, that's very clear.
Should we eliminate those two from contention?
You know, honestly, we can eliminate mine. I feel fine with that. It's definitely not the strongest contender. But I think there is merit to yours. I mean, it is personal to you.
Right.
But I think that's makes it maybe even more likable.
Okay, well, let's keep it in the running, but I just want to remind you of its competition.
Right.
The Super Mario World map, the Breath of the Wild map, and Tears of the Kingdom, the Metroid Prime map, and the map of World 8-4 in the classified information, the Super Mario Brothers and Nintendo World Championships NES edition.
So, it's an honor to be nominated, of course, but I think the Metroid Prime map, we can probably
exercise that one.
Yeah.
So Super Mario World, Breath of the Wild, and the map of World 8-4 in the classified information for Super Mario Brothers.
So I'm leaning towards either Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom or Super Mario World. I'm kind of partial to Super Mario World, but I'm open.
Sure. I was sort of holding out hope that there would be a groundswell of support for the map of World 8-4 in the classified information of Super Mario Brothers and Nintendo World Championships NES edition, but I understand why it's not there. So yeah, let's get it down to just Super Mario World versus Breath of the Wild, and really because truly, Breath of the Wild is a super impactful thing. Super Mario World remains powerful all these years after it debuted, right?
I do think that's something that's remarkable about the Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom map is that other 3D Zelda maps are not memorable to me.
Totally true. Yes.
And it is a 2D Zelda thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I considered having Link to the Past as one of my nominees.
As did I.
And so it almost makes the 3D, Breath of the Wild one even, all the more remarkable.
Right. What's interesting about Link to the Past is that in some ways it is the synthesis of these final two nominees that we are considering right now, in that it has that 16-bit bright, colorful charm that conveys a rich, full world for the first time in the series, while also being a Zelda map.
But what is interesting about Link to the Past and possibly Super Mario World as well is that unlike the Zelda one, which is we're talking about the actual map that you bring up.
Yes.
If you bring up the map in A Link to the Past, not a nominee, but it's not good. It's ugly. The actual map in the game is bad, but the world rendering is so
wonderful.
Maybe that's what tips it to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is there a world map that you pull up in Super Mario World that is as delightful as the world itself?
Not really. And just one note about the map in Link to the Past, which again is not a nominee. There are two modes that you can deal with it. You can either view the whole thing at once, or you can do this sort of zoomed in mode 7 thing, which really I love mode 7. It's a weird distortion of the map, right? That's all. I just want to shout out that was using mode 7. I think it's got to be Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
I think so too.
Okay, great. So the Cardi for best map goes to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Mark, we've got something special now.
Yes, that's right. It's the first special award of the night.
Yep.
And it's for a very special achievement
Mm-hmm.
for a very special guy.
Yeah, so the special honorary award is for achievement in serial killing. And of course, when you think about 2024 and serial killing in the world of Nintendo, it could only go to one guy we are honoring today. Of course, Emio, the Smiling Man. And I believe Emio is here to accept the award.
That's right. Come on up, you big galoot.
Come on up, Emio. Here he is clomping up in his big boots, big work boots.
It's got the paper bag.
Yep, over his head,
that
which
fans go crazy for.
Mm-hmm. And no spoilers, but I'm glad that he's wearing the bag.
Yeah, me too. But the eyes, though, you can still see.
Right. We should make sure to laugh right now.
Yes, that's right.
So he won't murder us.
Uh-huh.
So there we go. Laughter, and then Emio, if you'd like to say a few words.
No. Okay.
All right. Just standing silently, got his face close to the microphone, but did not. Okay, and he's going back to his seat.
Well, on Emio's behalf,
yep.
Thank you so much for this achievement. A rare award in a Nintendo-focused award show.
But now that we've established it, we will have to do it every year. All right, let's move back to the regular award categories with a category that I suggested in a recent episode in the Magic in Zelda episode. It is, of course, Best Bird.
Yes, Best Bird. And I found it surprisingly easy to come up with nominees for this.
As did I. Mark, I'll go first. My first nominee is Dodo / the fake Prince Mallow in Super Mario RPG. Valentina has not invaded, but she has come into the Nimbus Kingdom and has claimed to brought back the missing Prince Mallow, but it is in fact this giant dodo bird named Dodo, who is mean and pecks stuff.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
It's a good bit.
My first nominee is Rowlet, the starter from
Rowlet
Pokemon Sun and Moon.
And
in our ranking of the Pokemon starters that we did in 2018 with Oscar Montoya, Rowlet came in second.
Right.
Only to Froakie.
That's right.
I think the final argument for Rowlet was cutie to moody to Robin Hoodie.
That's right. That's right. He is cutie to hootie to Robin Hoodie. I like it. And it's hard to argue with that little bow tie that he wears.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And second place in the past. Maybe tonight is his championship.
Finally a bride?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, that's how that saying goes. My second nominee for Best Bird is from the Game Boy Advance game Kuru Kuru Kururin. It is Kururin himself, the little bird who flies in like a spaceship that can't stop uncontrollably spinning and hitting the walls of the puzzle level. He's a little bird who wears like an old-timey pilot's cap and goggles.
I don't think I know who this bird is.
Do you know Kuru Kuru Kururin?
No.
It is a game that's on Nintendo Switch Online, published by Nintendo and made for the Game Boy Advance.
My next nominee is Cass, the bard bird from Breath of the Wild.
Now, Cass is a
Rito.
Yes, he's a Rito, which will count as a bird.
Okay.
I've
got backups if he's disqualified.
No, he's qualified. Mysteriously missing from Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yep.
There are hints of him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And whether he was planned at some point to be included in the game or always meant to be a little bit of a mystery is unclear. But yeah, love Cass. Love when you would walk into an area of the world and you would hear his accordion. You'd be like, yeah, my guy is around here somewhere.
And so fun to have him back for the Champions Ballad.
Totally,
that final DLC kind of playing an important role there.
I also have a Zelda bird to nominate here, and it is Zelda's Loftwing, but specifically the Zelda Loftwing amiibo that granted you sort of fast travel at any point up to the sky that you could just scan it in and be teleported away. It's a big chunky amiibo. We have precious few Zelda amiibo especially considering how many Link amiibo we have. And so, yeah, Zelda and her Loftwing.
Yeah, I think that amiibo is particularly striking to me. There's something about like the color combination. It's like the blue bird and like Zelda.
The pose is kind of poetic too, that there's like a relationship between the human or the Hylian and the bird. Yeah, it's a very good one.
Okay, I guess I'm on my final nomination. I have a few to choose from, and it's kind of eating me up a little bit. But I think I'm gonna go with it's the first one that came to mind, so I think I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah, go with your gut.
It's Squawks from Donkey Kong Country. This is an animal buddy that will assist you in the first game by holding a lantern.
Yeah.
Through a level that is otherwise dark. And then in Donkey Kong Country 2, grows a little bigger and can pick you up and kind of carry you around.
Now, I just want to make sure that that is accurate. I feel like we've gotten in trouble before when talking about the birds in Donkey Kong Country because some of them have different names and have different abilities than I think they have.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I have Squawks correct.
Squawks for sure is the bird that appears in the first one. That is holding the lamp. And when you turn around quickly, the light flashes the entire screen.
Yes,
which is an incredible cool effect. And is just one of the great little features of that game. Okay, we've got 6 good nominees here: Dodo, the fake Prince Mallow, Rowlet, Kururin, Cass, Zelda's Loftwing, specifically the amiibo, and Squawks. Mark, how you feeling here?
I really like that amiibo. But the bird itself, like in the game, doesn't really have much personality.
Sure, is Zelda's Loftwing, so you don't actually spend that much time with it. You spend time with yours. I'm feeling Cass.
Cass is so lovable. It's a great character, great music. It's always a joy when he shows up in the game. I think Cass is a great pick.
I think it's got to be Cass. This is the second award that we're giving to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, a game that I guess just looms large over everything.
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the final cardies of the Switch being Nintendo's newest, game console,
I agree with
then
this point.
Fitting for Breath of the Wild. It's kind of like its Return of the King run.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that now we're just it's winning all the like back Oscars for all of the that makes sense. All right, our next award category goes to Best Supporting Little Dudes.
Yeah, we're talking Toads. We're talking Poplins.
Right.
Possible nominees, but I'm just giving examples of what we're talking about when we're talking little dudes.
And I would argue that if we can compellingly make an argument that a group of characters falls under the category of little dudes, it counts.
I agree. And like stature is not important.
Right. They need not actually be little.
Yes.
All of my nominees are pretty little. Mark, would you like to go first?
Yeah, my first pick is the Picori or Minish from The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap.
And they prefer to be called the
their actual like name is Picori.
Right.
Yeah, it's a weird level of like meta narrative within it.
It's like,
that,
why do that?
The people of Hyrule call them Minish, but they're actually Picori.
Right. But the sword is canonically the Minish sword?
Yes.
No, it's the Picori sword, right?
I honestly can't remember. The sword's not up for nomination.
The sword
but
is
that's
not,
an idea for 2025.
Best sword? I'm writing it down now.
The Picori, another piece of like lore that I think is really fun about the Picori is that they're responsible for every rupee that you find in the bushes in Hyrule.
Yes, that they're like you're like stealing their life savings that they hid away in a bush. Is that what that is?
And I enjoyed my time with Minish Cap. And how did you emphasize it? Picori? What was I doing wrong?
I think I did not intend to correct you. Other than they prefer to be called the Picori.
Yes, that's right.
And not the Minish. And yeah, Picori, who cares? We don't know. My first nominee is from a game that I did not like that much, and we've already talked about me not liking it that much. It's the Theets
Ah, yes.
from Princess Peach
Those
Showtime.
bulb-nosed
These
freaks.
bulb-nosed freaks from this game that their whole life seems to revolve around attending the theater and participating in shows, which means that at their heart, the Theets are just theater kids.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. Because I was like, when you
Yep.
nominated them, I was ready to give it 2 big thumbs down.
Right.
But you're right. Maybe I should show a little compassion.
I'm just saying that if I were in high school, I would have been a Theet.
Oh my gosh, I was a thief.
I was
Who
a
are we
Theet.
kidding?
Right. So,
all these little theets in like a massage circle before the show.
doing trust falls and that kind of stuff. Working on accents that are bad. But yeah, so the Theets are my first nominee for Best Supporting Little
That's
Dudes.
really good. And good for Princess Peach Showtime to get a nomination in here.
Sneaking on the board somewhere.
As
As many times as Everybody Want to Switch.
my next nominee for Best Supporting Little Dudes are the jellyfish from Splatoon. The little like blue jellyfish
Oh yeah.
that just inhabit the world.
Yep.
They're spectators. They're like slowly,
Mhm.
just like bobbing around. They'll be wearing a hat or eating popcorn or just like doing their thing. I
Right.
just like
They're
that.
sort of the salarymen of that universe.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, seemingly. Yeah, I just enjoy their presence in the game. I think they're cute.
Yeah.
And I like that they're just around doing stuff.
Yeah. I like that too.
Just like fills out the world a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and in Octo expansion, they're just like on that train.
Right, yes, yeah. Going to work,
Yeah.
living their life.
That's right. While the Inklings are like reenacting war crimes for fun, the little jellyfish guys, they gotta go to work.
The backbone of the
right.
Splatoon economy.
Someone's got to pay the bills. My next nominee for Best Supporting Little Guys are the Ghost Pikmin from Pikmin 4.
Are these the ones that are in the cave?
No, they only appear at night.
Oh.
So there was a new mode introduced for Pikmin 4 where you can return to areas at night, and you are defending these like Pikmin, like they're sort of like termite mounds, like those like the sand like cones basically. And the ghost Pikmin just sort of like emerge from that. You command them, you grow them like quickly in these like high pressure sort of tower defense situations, and then when the night is over, they vanish. And they're just like cool, mysterious. They're Pikmin, but like, are they the ghost of Pikmin? Are they the ghost of something else? Did they exist in any form before? Will they exist in any form once the sun rises? Who knows? But so they're just like green, glowing, floating ghost Pikmin.
Oh, spooky. Add those to Pikmin Bloom.
Yes. Oh my God. I would love Ghost Pikmin and Pikmin Bloom.
Even if they're just around like for the Halloween season or something.
That'd be great.
That'd be so fun. So my final nomination, this is one that they're not actually all that little, but I have a soft spot for Super Mario Sunshine. So I'm going with the Piantas, the residents of Isle Delfino.
Yeah.
The kind of like large blobby.
How would you describe these guys? Yeah. It's like if you could imagine like an ogre in a fantasy setting,
That's
but
like-
sweet.
Yes.
They're
yeah.
like sweet ogres.
And just look like really huggable.
yes.
Those are the Piantas.
Probably wearing like a grass skirt or something.
Mhm.
Pianta, very good. And then my final nominee are the people of Molesville from Super Mario RPG. They're moles.
That's cute.
And they've got these like deep Alabama accents, like these like southern really affected like written out accents. They're adorable. The family that you interact with most have a son and a daughter whose names are Dinah and Mite, because they're like minors and it's cute. So yeah, the moles from Molesville. Mark, I'm sorry, you'll have to remind me of your first nominee again.
The Picori.
The Picori, that's right. All right, so our nominees are as follows: the Picori / Minish, the Theets, the Jellyfish from Splatoon, from the Splatoon world, Ghost Pikmin, Pianta from Sunshine, and the Moles of Moleville from Super Mario RPG.
These are all very good nominees.
Yes, I agree. Who are the best supporting little dudes?
Well, what do we look for in a supporting little dude? I think we look
Jeez.
for, kind of like relentless optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think of the Toads.
The base is the Toad.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like the little dude that all other little dudes aspire to be.
Right. Well, and so even though
didn't get nominated.
No, Toads are not gonna. Well, it's like
yeah, it's a given.
It's a given. That's right. They're definitionally this thing. Well, there are some like Toads that separate them, like make themselves separate. I think there is like a uniformity about this supporting little dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
That we want here, which maybe disqualifies the moles from Moleville. I knew 2 of their names. That may disqualify them altogether. And maybe that also disqualifies, or not disqualifies, but makes the Pianta a little bit less of a valid.
And I would
nomination.
say the Picori as well, because the Picori have like villages and thriving, they just have their own.
Sure, we're looking a little bit.
Yeah,
we're looking for a little bit more of like faceless drones, which I think the Theets, the jellyfish, and the ghost Pokemon or Pikmin really embody. Yeah. Okay. So let's narrow it down to just the Theets, the jellyfish, or the ghost Pikmin. I sort of think this is the jellyfish. Like to me, I think they most embody this like supporting little dudes.
I would say the only thing that
Although, do they support?
Exactly. I think that's the part where they maybe fall flat. Is unlike the Toad, it's not like you can call up a jellyfish,
right?
To help you or anything like that.
Right. They are little dudes, and they're good little dudes. But they are in no way supporting the squid kids. Yeah.
I think that's definitely true.
Okay, well, so does that leave us with either the Theets or the ghost Pikmin?
Okay, I'll say it again. I came in knives out for the Theets, but I think Theets might be our winner. Like as close to Toads as you can get.
Yeah, just about. They are very, very Toad-like, and they participate in all the shows,
and they're helpless. Like they need your help. They basically are like incapable of doing it themselves.
They're incapable of doing it themselves, but they do help you throughout. Like they are the definition of support, right?
Right.
Because they're playing all the other parts in the show, even like the impediments to you.
Yeah, right? I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel they're not really playing
the bad guys.
They're not the impediments to you, but they are like.
Look, they're not the sour bunch.
Yeah, no, you got it. So sometimes they're down, and you have to like make them courageous, and then they'll take up arms, and they'll like direct you to where you're supposed to go.
It's incredible how hard it is to remember this game.
And yet, I truly think Theets are the winner out of our nominees.
I think so too. Okay, so the winner of the Cardi for Best Supporting Little Dudes are the Theets from Princess Peach Showtime. And
now it is time for an annual Cardi's tradition. It is time for the Slippy Bee DeFrog Award. For achievement and obnoxious characters.
That's right. Previous winners of this award include Navi, the fairy from Ocarina of Time, Dr. Kamuda from Famicom Detective Club, The Missing Heir, Lego Jar Jar Binks from Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and Clan and Fram from Fire Emblem Engage.
That's right. This year, we're happy to announce that the winner for achievement and obnoxious characters 2024 is D from Another Code Recollection.
Yes, D from Another Code Recollection. I'm getting actually a message in my ear here from our producers. They're saying that D is the ghost of a child, and they're worried that maybe we shouldn't be disparaging the name of a dead child.
Oh, what's that? D ran in fear from his uncle into a cave and then fell to his death, causing his uncle to kill himself.
Okay, so a horrifying series of events, but as a ghost that like haunts your character in another Code recollection, I gotta say, still pretty obnoxious. Kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So sorry, D. We know that you are the spirit of a child who died
tragically, and yet we find you annoying.
So please accept the Slippy Beat Defrog.
Congratulations.
Achievement in obnoxious characters. D from another Code recollection.
Yeah, us accepting it
is his grieving mother. All right, moving on to the final award of the evening. Mark, can you believe it? We're already to the end of another Cardies.
Man, what a year. What a show.
Yeah, what a year, what a show. I'm still not actually gotten close enough to Luigi where I can get a pick that looks like we're in it together.
And I am sad to announce that KK Slider did in fact come with his mom.
Oh yeah,
which means this is not the year.
You can't approach it. Well, there's always next year.
There's always next year.
He'll write an original song for...
He'll write an original song, and we'll be recording this in a limo.
That's right. And I believe he's writing the original song that's going to appear in Wicked Part 2. Is that correct?
I do think that's right. The one that they'll for sure put up for Oscar contention.
The final awards category for tonight is the Best Mystery of 2024. Now, we do not usually limit our award winners or nominees to a specific year, but this was a year full of mystery. So, Mark, we are nominating the best mysteries of 2024. Would you like to offer your nominees first or second?
Yeah, I only have 2 nominees for this one.
Okay, I have 3, so I'll go first.
That sounds good.
My first nominee for Best Mystery of 2024 is what is the online playtest? This period where we didn't know what this thing was going to be.
That's a good one.
They were just like, sign up for it, as many as 10,000 of you. And then we got in, or I got in, started playing it, and the mystery sort of continues. What is this thing? Is this a test bed for something else? Is this what the game is really going to be? You play as like a boxy caveman with a tail building stuff? I'm not supposed to be talking about it. I clicked a thing saying I wouldn't talk about it. But yeah, what is the online playtest? My first nominee for Best Mystery.
Yeah, that is very good. That is a real mystery. My first nominee is where's a new Donkey Kong game? And I feel like this has been a persistent mystery, but they just continue to tease, and it feels like we're building to something, but we just don't know what it is. And it can't possibly be Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. It just can't be.
It couldn't possibly be the second time they've remade Donkey Kong Country Returns. It cannot be.
Yeah. So there's got to be more.
Yeah. And what is that?
There's a whole land devoted to it.
I know.
Like a whole like physical theme park land devoted to Donkey Kong. And I don't know, there's just got to be more. So yeah, that's a mystery to me.
And he was big in the movie last year. And it's just like, yeah, what's going on?
Yep.
My second nominee for Best Mystery of 2024 is how will the Switch 2 distinguish itself from the Switch 1?
That's a good one.
There are obviously always the questions of like, when are they going to announce it? When is it going to come out? Blah, blah, blah. I've been saying for 100 years that it's not going to come out until 2025. So for me, that's not been a mystery. The mystery is truly, what is the next step here? Right. Nintendo so infrequently does the last thing but better, right? It's just not in their DNA. It's not in their DNA for the last like 2 decades, like at all. You can make an argument that like Game Boy to Game Boy Advance is that, NES to Super NES is that, but kind of everything else is like has weird sideways steps in it. And is the Switch going to do that? They're in a place of like dominance in the market right now.
Yep.
And so for me, the sort of like driving mystery is, what are they going to do to make the Switch 2 worth your time as a game enjoyer, as a fan of Nintendo products? And is it just that it's better, or is there a thing that makes it different?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good one.
that to me is like a compelling central mystery of like the it's like the condition of being the Nintendo fan in 2024.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. Because my second nominee is also Switch 2 related, and it is just kind of like, when are they going to reveal the Switch 2? And we know like roughly, when it's going to be, but I feel like the um from the beginning it was like, oh, this is the year, right? And then I just felt like it kept getting pushed back a little bit. Like throughout the entire year, I feel like our expectations kept changing. Where it was like, okay, it's the beginning of the year, we're gonna get it uh early, and then it leaked out that no, it's not gonna release until 2025.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well then
Something
maybe
I've been
they'll be
saying
talking
since
about
like
it.
2022, but yes.
Then it's like, okay, well maybe then they'll be talking about it in the summer, and then they didn't talk about it in the
Right.
summer, and then it's like,
Or
okay,
September.
right. Or then it's like, oh, for sure it's gonna happen at the end of October before their next financial release, because that's when they did it for the Switch, and it didn't happen. So I feel like it just keeps changing and getting pushed back, and has been like the question that we've been asking all year over and over and over, that the football has just been kept being like pulled away.
Yes. So if that is not the best mystery of 2024, it is certainly the most persistent mystery, right?
Yeah.
It's one where the question has been posed over and over and over again, and the answer is like an unsatisfying not yet. Right? Just over and over. My final nominee for best mystery of 2024, and I've written it down, and I'm going to read what I wrote down verbatim. Best mystery 2024. What's the deal with that one dude from the Metroid Prime 4 trailer? I think his name is something like Stylus, Smamus, something like that.
Yeah, this is Silex, I think his name is.
I think his name is Silex.
And
yeah, that feels right.
Every time it comes up, I Google it,
Uh-huh.
and I look it up, and I try to retain it, and yet it is so uninteresting. And
because is he from Hunters?
Yeah, something like that. And
Okay.
maybe at the end of Metroid Prime 3,
he's teased
he was
there or something.
But it's like,
it is like some deep Metroid Prime specific lore,
especially because and do you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Not even that cool looking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like,
right.
His like messed up Metroids that are floating around him
cool.
in the fortress.
Yes.
Like, them I want to know.
That's a real like Michonne and her like zombie hounds, whatever. Like that I can.
Yeah,
I
that
can
I can get behind.
Yeah.
But like Silex himself, like the expanded universe of the Metroid Prime series, I really don't care about. I don't care about the Federation.
Tough, right?
I don't care about like all of her like Marine friends,
and like the Phazon stuff. I think the Marine friends are mostly in Other M.
You're right. You're right.
But it's
I
like
can't blame
there are
Prime
other
for that.
bounty hunters though in 3 and Hunters, and probably Federation forces, but who would ever know that? But so yeah. For me, this mystery of like, hey, what is this, and why are we like? Oh, by the way, he's like our Darth Vader now.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so those are our 5. Should I recap them?
Sure.
Okay, so the 5 nominees for Best Mystery of 2024, and the final award that we will be giving out in the 5th annual Cardies. Mystery number 1, what is the online playtest, and what will it end up being? Where is a new Donkey Kong game? How will the Switch 2 distinguish itself from the Switch 1? When will they reveal the Switch 2? And what's the deal with that one dude from the Metroid Prime 4 trailer? I think his name is something like Silas, Smamus, something like that. What do you think, Mark?
I think just like our first award, the answer does present itself, and I do think it is how will the Switch 2 distinguish itself from the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I think I think that's right. Well, the question that we've probably been asking more is when will they reveal it? We're only asking that because we want to know what is revealed.
And we partly have an answer to it.
Sure.
Which is, we know we're going to know more before the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, totally. But how the thing is different, either in software or features or internet capabilities or hardware, like that kind of stuff is still a compelling mystery that we need answers.
And feels like it has the most stakes.
Absolutely. Because, like, it could mean, like, are we going to have fun talking about Nintendo for the next 8 years? Or are we going to have a bummer of, like, 3.5 years before they panic and put something else out?
Yeah, and we're talking about mobile games again.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. We could be heading into a Wii U situation.
Yeah. You just never know.
No one knows. It's a fascinating time to be a Nintendo fan. All right, Mark. That's the end of the 5th annual Cartridge Awards. Any big thoughts here as we close out the ceremony?
I mean, just truly, congratulations to all of the nominees. Just being nominated for a Cardi.
It's a prestigious thing. The award only comes around once a year. We have a variable number of categories, and look. We say that it's gaming's biggest night, and I mean that. Frankly,
yes, absolutely.
So it's what a year, what a great award show. Mark, let's close this out. That's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, if you have not already joined the Discord, you should do that by emailing us, Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com.
Thank you so much to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Patrice Millette, and Kyle Seaborn. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone who's listening right now and who make this awards show possible. It is not cheap for us to contract the services of PricewaterhouseCoopers, who are keeping our votes secret and tallied and delivering them to us in a briefcase. One of these guys is handcuffed to it. It's a very secure situation, and we couldn't do it without your support.
Yeah. And I think that's so important that you brought that up, Patrick, because the Cardis cannot be bought.
The 100% the Cardis cannot be bought.
We can be wined and dined.
We can, yes, but we're not the Globes.
Yeah, we'll just say it.
We'll just coming right out and saying it. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.